High school grads should just clean toilets for life. What? Emily was looking forward to attending the sales department meeting as a new employee. I thought her enthusiasm was admirable and encouraged her to go. However, at the sales department meeting, she was kicked out simply because she only had a high school diploma. I know that she joined the company with a passion for the food products we manufacture. So, I can't tolerate such treatment. I immediately called Mr. Carter, the head of the sales department. "You're all fired." "Fired? What do you mean by that?" Mr. Carter was surprised. Of course, it's a natural reaction since he was fired without any warning. But I have no intention of reversing this decision. Emily's report revealed enough about the situation. As our company's sales department, their misconduct cannot be overlooked. To solve the wrongdoing rampant in this company, I started taking action. I'm John Smith, 41 years old. I am the CEO of a company called Ace Supply. This company handles the sales, manufacturing, and cooking of food products. We have several branches nationwide, supplying products to retail stores and restaurants. Although I run a large company with nationwide operations, I usually disguise myself as a janitor. The CEO of Ace Supply is often working outside, so he's not seen much in the office. Even among employees who have been with the company for nearly 20 years, few know my true identity. The reason I hide my status is that I like to see the employees as they really are. As spring arrives, many new graduates join the company with enthusiasm this year as well. Compared to other companies, many people here are eager to work. This is because Ace Supply operates children's cafeterias nationwide. Some children have parents who are busy or are from single-parent families and cannot have satisfactory meals. Ace Supply opens these children's cafeterias to provide handmade meals to children who lack such opportunities, using our own food products to cook and serve dishes on the spot. If a child likes the dish, we sometimes provide them with the recipe. "Wow, this looks delicious." "Thank you." "You're welcome. How do you make this dish?" "Well, let me explain. Ace Supply's children's cafeteria activities have been ongoing for 10 years. As a result, recently, students who used to rely on our children's cafeterias have grown up and started aspiring to work at our company. Sometimes, we reach out to students who are about to graduate from school. This year, Emily, who is joining our company, is one of the people I approached. I often had meals at this children's cafeteria. I come from a single-parent family, and my mom was always busy, so I rarely had homemade meals. I really loved the homemade dishes here. I visited children's cafeterias across the country. That's why I know about Emily, who frequently visited the children's cafeteria. She is a genuinely good-hearted person and does not resent being born into a single-parent family. On the contrary, she properly appreciates her mother, who supports the family while working hard. At the same time, she couldn't give up her longing for homemade meals, so she always came when the children's cafeteria was open. Sometimes she would bring her mother to the cafeteria, and other times she would take the food home for her mother. Emily speaks with fond memories. "The taste of Ace Supply's food feels like the taste of my second home. So, I really love it. I'm really glad I found this cafeteria." She talks happily about her memories of the children's cafeteria. I ask Emily, "Emily, would you like to join Ace Supply after you graduate from school?" Her eyes widen in surprise, as if she had never dreamed of such an opportunity. "Is that really possible?" "Yes. I'll talk to the management. I think everyone would welcome someone like you who knows our company well, but I don't think I can go to college. At Ace Supply, your educational background doesn't matter. We welcome enthusiastic people with open arms, even if they only have a middle school education. So what do you think?" With shining eyes, Emily says, "Absolutely. If I can help spread the taste of Ace Supply's food, I'd love to. I'm currently a high school junior and will graduate next year. Could I contact you again before then?" "Of course. I'll talk to HR. I'm looking forward to the day we can work together." Ace Supply values passion and dedication to food over educational background. Students who frequently visit the children's cafeteria know Ace Supply well and often feel a sense of gratitude. As a result, they tend to stay with the company longer and work with enthusiasm. Before the new year started, Emily visited Ace Supply's headquarters to complete her employment paperwork. I spotted her walking down the hallway in a suit and called out to her. "Long time no see, Emily." "Good to see you, John." A year had passed since I first spoke to her. I already knew she had graduated from high school, had her interview, and was officially hired by our company. "So, you've finally joined the company?" "Yes." "It feels like a dream to be working at Ace Supply." Her enthusiasm hadn't faded since a year ago. Her words conveyed her strong desire to work here. "Thank you so much for reaching out to me a year ago. If you hadn't, I don't know where I'd be working now." Emily smiled sheepishly. In reality, high school graduates have fewer job opportunities. In this context, she managed to secure a full-time position. Moreover, it's with a company she already knew quite well. This fact must have been quite favorable for Emily. She shared with me, "I've been assigned to the sales department. Did you want to join the sales department?" "Yes. I want more people to know about Ace Supply's food and dishes." She spoke shyly. It seems she wanted to spread the taste she grew up with to many people. "So, I thought the sales department would be perfect for promoting that." "I see. I'm glad your wish was granted. It'll make your work even more meaningful." "Yes. Seeing the fresh enthusiasm of new employees makes me glad we hired her. If we continue to bring in passionate employees like her, this company will thrive." I still keep my identity as CO a secret. That's why she feels comfortable interacting with me so casually. Watching over her, I silently wish her the best. As the new year begins, in-house training starts. Emily also started training to learn her job. Initially, all new employees learned the company rules together rather than focusing on their specific departments. The shift from school life to the workplace was a big change for her, and she seemed to be confused at times. "Please take supplies from here. Record the remaining number here." "Got it." "This is how to use this room." "Excuse me, I have a question about this room." She remembers what she's told and eagerly asks questions if there's something she doesn't understand. Emily is making an effort to learn her job and contribute to the company. I watch her diligently as I go about my cleaning duties. She has bonded well with her 5 fellow trainees and is often seen having lunch with them during breaks. About a week into the training, I happen to meet Emily during her break. "Hi, John. How are you?" "I'm good. How have you been?" "There's so much to learn, and I'm having fun. I can hardly believe I'm working at the company that has helped me so much." She looked up at me and smiled brightly. For a newcomer, there must be many things she doesn't know and things that might not go smoothly. She may have had her mistakes pointed out by her superiors. However, working at the company that had always supported her seemed to energize her. The new employees will soon be assigned to their respective departments, right? "Yes. Our current training will end in a week, and then I'll finally be a member of the sales department," she said excitedly. "Once I'm in the sales department, there's going to be a sales meeting right away. I'm really looking forward to hearing how the senior staff handle their work." "That's great. I hope there's a lot for you to learn." "Yes." While some employees might find meetings tedious, she seemed to feel the opposite. She couldn't wait to start doing real sales work. I hoped the meeting would be educational for her. A week passed since then. Training ended, and from today, the new employees are supposed to start working in their assigned departments, such as planning or accounting. Today is also the day Emily will head to the sales department and participate in her first sales meeting. "Good morning, John." "Good morning. You seem excited, Emily." Seeing her so excited, I couldn't help but smile. "I'm finally starting in the sales department today. I'm really looking forward to participating in the sales meeting." "You mentioned that. Aren't you nervous?" "I am a bit nervous, but I'm more excited about everything I can learn." "I see." It seemed she had been looking forward to this day for a long time. She was eager to see the strategies the senior staff used in their sales efforts. I was looking forward to hearing her thoughts on the various strategies she would learn during the meeting. The meeting starts in an hour, right? Good luck. Yes. Thank you. She eagerly headed towards her desk. After parting ways, I resumed my cleaning duties around the office. About an hour later, I wondered if the sales meeting had started. As I was thinking this, I heard hurried footsteps coming from a hallway a little way off. Someone must be in a rush. It's not uncommon for employees to hurry when they're running late for a meeting or something similar. Curious about who it might be, I looked down the hallway and was surprised to see that it was Emily running. My eyes widened in surprise, and I could see the pained expression on her face. She had eagerly joined the sales meeting with enthusiasm. But it's only been about 5 minutes since the meeting started. Yet here she was, running down the hallway in the opposite direction of the meeting room. I quickly chased after her and called out, "Emily." I finally caught up to her at the end of the hallway. I questioned her with concern. "Emily, what's wrong?" "John." She turned around, tears in her eyes. I was shocked to see her crying. Though I was flustered, I calmly asked her what happened. "Are you okay? I'm here if you need to talk." She had been looking forward to participating in the sales meeting for a long time. So what could have caused her to leave the meeting in such a state? Emily wiped away her tears with her fingers and spoke in a trembling voice. "They told me high school grads should just clean toilets for life." "What?" And then she began to explain. Emily nervously attended her first sales meeting. There were other new employees in the sales department, but she was the only one who chose to participate in the meeting. When asked if anyone wanted to attend, she eagerly raised her hand. The room had folding tables arranged in a rectangle. At the head of the table, Mr. Carter, the head of the sales department, glanced briefly at the documents in front of him and said, "All right, the strategy is fine. The meeting is over. Do whatever you want." With that, the employees began stretching or fiddling with their smartphones. Without any discussion or review of the submitted strategy documents, the meeting was abruptly ended. Excuse me," Emily asked in confusion, but the employees started slacking off as they pleased. Normally, they should have been discussing strategies to increase Ace Supply's sales. However, they had no intention of holding a proper meeting. To Emily, their behavior seemed bizarre. She realized the true nature of the sales meetings. They were simply a way for the employees to create free time under the guise of a meeting, away from the scrutiny of other departments. These meetings were called solely for that purpose. Is there no discussion or anything? There's no need to change anything if it's working fine as it is. This way, we can slack off until the meeting is officially over, but circumstances are always changing. Shouldn't we consider future sales strategies based on past sales data? Newbies are always so intense. Mr. Carter responded to her straightforward opinion with an exasperated sigh. Then, he explained to Emily in a bored tone. "If sales profits start to decline, we can just get new contracts by lying a little. It's a waste of time to think about complicated strategies. As long as we're getting paid, who cares?" None of the sales department employees disagreed with him. It seemed that everyone attending the meeting had been influenced by Mr. Carter's mindset. Emily felt isolated, even though she knew she was right. Feeling trapped, she was filled with despair. "Getting contracts that way is wrong." Mr. Carter glared at her. "Sales are all about making a profit. Did you join the sales department without understanding that? But you shouldn't lie in business deals. What about the people who trust and buy our company's food products? Just having a sense of responsibility isn't enough to do your job. If we don't make a profit, the company will fail. Do you get it? It's true that a bit of persuasion is necessary to earn a client's trust and secure contracts. However, that doesn't mean it's okay to lie." Mr. Carter's argument was clearly wrong. Determined not to back down, Emily responded, "I joined this company because I want to share the appeal of our food products with as many people as possible." "Mr. Carter," an employee called out, and then whispered something to him. Suddenly, Mr. Carter found something amusing, slammed the table, and started laughing loudly. You're a high school graduate. No wonder you're spouting all this idealistic nonsense." Emily's face turned bright red with embarrassment. "You don't see reality. This world runs on money, and you do whatever it takes to get it. Living a goody two-shoes life and ending up as a high school graduate, you've sure made a mess of your life. Ace Supply welcomes employees with various educational backgrounds, even those with just a middle school education. So, there's no need to feel ashamed about being a high school graduate." However, being directly called out on her educational background was humiliating for anyone. "But you grew up on those children's cafeterias, didn't you? I know. Lately, we've had more of your kind around here. The CEO must be out of his mind, hiring you over college graduates who'd surely boost our sales." Emily had joined the company to give back, having benefited from the children's cafeterias. Recently, more employees like her had joined Ace Supply. However, it seemed some employees weren't happy about it. To Mr. Carter, a college graduate, employees with lower educational backgrounds were just a nuisance. "I just want people to enjoy our company's food. High school grads are dreamers. People like you can't make it in the real world." Mr. Carter then barked at Emily, "Go clean toilets, you high school grads. You're just in the way." "I understand." And that's why Emily ran out of the meeting room. So, her dream of working in the sales department was shattered, and she was shocked by the harsh reality she faced. That must have been tough. Yes, of course, Emily was not in the wrong. If the meeting ended with just one sentence, it made no sense, and lying about the company's products and sales is simply unacceptable. But don't worry. Not everyone agrees with Mr. Carter. We can find allies. Lying might secure many contracts temporarily. However, losing trust would inevitably lead to severe consequences later. Mr. Carter's approach was clearly wrong. I had been roaming the office as a janitor, but I never imagined that the sales department had fallen into such a dire state when I wasn't watching. Even as a janitor, I couldn't enter the meeting room. They were deliberately using the meeting room, away from prying eyes, as a place to slack off. "I'm sorry, I didn't realize things had gotten so bad in the sales department." "No, John, you haven't done anything wrong. You don't need to apologize." "No, I'll do something about this." "What?" She looked at me wide-eyed, surprised by my words. She probably wondered how a mere janitor could handle such a situation. But Mr. Carter, "Don't worry. To her, I was just a janitor, cleaning the office every day. She would never imagine that I was actually the CEO. But this was precisely the kind of situation where my highest authority needed to be exercised." With that thought, I immediately took out my phone and called the head of the sales department. He didn't answer, likely still in the meeting room. Undeterred, I kept calling Mr. Carter. It's rare for me to call employees directly since I'm supposedly seldom around. Because I was supposedly seldom around. Mr. Carter must have been quite surprised. Eventually, Mr. Carter answered the call. "Mr. Smith, what on earth is going on? Why are you calling so many times?" Getting multiple calls from the CEO. That must have been terrifying for him, even as a department head. As he nervously wondered what the call was about, I spoke mercilessly. "You're all fired." "What?" "I've heard about the sales meetings. What on earth is going on?" As the CEO, I had never intervened in the sales department until now. Typically, I left the internal management to the executive director while making the final decisions myself. That's why they probably thought they could get away with doing whatever they wanted without being caught. But now, their misdeeds had reached me. Even though I wasn't supposed to be present, they must be in a panic, wondering how I found out. "The sales meetings? How did you even?" "That's not important. What I want to know is why you're telling people to lie to secure contracts." I could tell from his voice that Mr. Carter was panicking. "Oh, what do you mean? We strive to have as many companies as possible carry Ace Supply's food products, and we conduct our sales with the utmost integrity." He was trying to cover up his actions with insincere words. It seemed they intended to hide their insincere attitude towards sales. if they showed no signs of remorse. I had other plans in mind. Anyway, the dismissal of the employees who attended the sales meeting earlier is final. I'll be speaking with you all shortly. Wait, Mr. Smith. Please reconsider. I cut him off and ended the call. Following that, calls started pouring in from Mr. Carter and the other sales employees who had attended the meeting. I turned off my phone. They justified their laziness, yet when faced with the threat of being fired, they started pleading. Such irresponsibility was appalling. I sighed at the thought of having entrusted part of our sales operations to such employees. It's okay now. Thank you for informing me about the corruption in the sales department. Yes, well. Emily seemed unsure whether to continue the conversation. Hesitantly, she asked, John, what is it? The CEO of Ace Supply, could it be that? The phone call must have revealed it to her. There was no longer any need to hide it. I decided to reveal my true identity. Yes, I'm the CEO of Ace Supply, Smith. Emily looked flustered and said, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were the CEO, John. I apologize for my disrespect. Don't worry about it. Being a janitor lets me talk to employees as they really are. It's more convenient for me. Please continue speaking to me the same way you always have. Really? She seemed worried that she might be reprimanded for her previous behavior. However, there was no reason for me to scold her. In fact, I should be praising her enthusiasm. After all, it was thanks to her that the corruption in the sales department was brought to light. Yes, I prefer things to stay relaxed. It would help me a lot if you kept talking to me as you always have. Then, John. Hesitantly, Emily addressed me by my name. I smiled in response to her words. So, you were the CEO, John? Yes, I was. I never meant to deceive you. People tend to act differently when they know the CEO is watching them. Over my years of managing the company, I've realized this. That's why I observe the employees as a janitor, to see their true selves. However, in this disguise, I couldn't uncover the corruption in the sales department. To prevent internal corruption, I'll need to devise a different strategy. I owe Emily a great deal of gratitude for this. Thank you for your help. It's all right. In fact, I'm sorry for not knowing what was happening in the sales department and for causing you pain. At the same time, I'm grateful to you for bringing this to light. I will definitely work on improving the sales department. You might have to bear with us for a while longer. Oh no, I'll help with anything you need. Just let me know, she said, flustered. Then hesitantly, she added, I know this might not be the best time to say it, but thank you so much for starting the children's cafeterias and for giving me this job. Her words made my eyes widen. The Ace Supply Children's Cafeteria really helped me. I grew up eating the food there. That's why I want to give back to the company by working here. Is it really okay, even though I'm just a high school graduate? It seemed she was still bothered by Mr. Carter's insults about her education. But as I've said many times, at Ace Supply, educational background doesn't matter. What matters is dedication and passion for our food, and there aren't many employees who embody that more than she does. Of course. We definitely want you to keep working here. We need passionate employees like you. Thank you. I'll keep doing my best at this company. Emily smiled brightly, and I smiled back. Seeing her smile, I couldn't help but smile back. I was truly glad that someone as passionate as her had joined our company. Afterward, I called in each employee who had attended the sales meeting and listened to them. It turned out that Mr. Carter had been conducting these sham meetings for about a year. Whenever a decision needed to be made in the sales department, they would hold a meeting. However, instead of discussing, Mr. Carter would make all the final decisions himself. The meeting would end within the first few minutes, and they would waste the rest of the reserved time playing on their phones. The minutes of the meetings were fabricated by the employee on duty. I thought this kind of inadequate meeting would lead to a drop in sales. However, whenever sales did drop, they would mix in lies to secure contracts. There was no passion for sales or sense of responsibility towards the company. The issue wasn't just their lack of enthusiasm. Lying to clients was a serious problem. We had to apologize to the clients who were deceived, bringing along the responsible employees. Furthermore, it was decided that all the employees who participated in the meetings would be dismissed for misconduct. This should have meant that the corrupt employees were removed from the sales department, leading to an improvement in its culture. I believe that removing the corrupt employees would improve the sales department's culture. However, I soon realized their persistence was beyond what I had anticipated. Just after the dismissals were officially announced, Emily was working at her desk. At that moment, Mr. Carter, along with the other employees who had been dismissed, approached her desk. The sight of Mr. Carter and his group, clearly upset, made Emily nervous. Without mercy, Mr. Carter said to her, "We're getting fired because of you. What do you have to say for yourself?" They were holding a grudge against Emily, blaming her for their dismissals. Of course, this situation was their own doing. If they hadn't slacked off and lied to clients, none of this would have happened. But you can't blame me for that. Emily had only spoken the truth. They had conducted sham meetings and lied to clients, which was unacceptable in sales. Profit is important in sales. However, whether lying is acceptable is an entirely different matter. They had damaged the trust that Ace Supply had built over the years. It was only natural that they faced the appropriate consequences. "Tell the CEO to reinstate us, you high school graduate. Why should I have to say such a thing?" Emily, realizing this was unfair, argued back. Their misconduct would have been discovered eventually. It just so happened that Emily was the one who brought their misconduct to light. High school graduate girls should just keep quiet and do as they're told. It's only natural for you to serve us college graduates, so we can keep working here. That's outrageous. Mr. Carter continued his vindictive behavior. He continued to hold a grudge, glaring at Emily and stepping closer to her. "You know what will happen if you talk back, right?" He began to threaten her. Bullying a female employee with a gang of disgruntled workers was unacceptable. Emily's eyes darted around, seeking help, unsure of what to do next. And I had heard every word Mr. Carter had said. Stepping out from behind the wall where I had been hiding, I revealed myself. "What do you mean by that, Mr. Carter?" "Mr. Smith." Seeing me, Mr. Carter began to sweat profusely. Mr. Carter, like the others, hadn't known my true identity. But during the investigation into the sales department situation, he learned that the janitor was actually the CEO. Addressing those who were intimidating Emily, I spoke firmly. Mr. Carter and his group recoiled at my presence. "Just because you have a higher education doesn't give you the right to behave this way. Our company values passion for food and manufacturing over educational background. Do you not understand that?" Mr. Carter, unwilling to back down, tried to argue. "But there's a difference in skills and judgment between high school graduates and college graduates. It's absurd to hire middle school and high school graduates so easily. Indeed, college graduates may have higher societal value and trust. However, even a college graduate who slacks off and deceives others is not welcome here. But a college graduate who deceives and slacks off versus a high school graduate with passion. It's clear which one the company would prefer to hire." Addressing Mr. Carter, who still didn't seem to understand, I said, "I myself am a middle school graduate. Can you still make that argument knowing this?" "What?" It was clear that Mr. Carter hadn't known this and was utterly shocked. They never imagined that someone running a large company like Ace Supply would have only a middle school education. In truth, I lost my parents when I was young. Afterward, my grandparents, who ran a farm, took me in and raised me. They grew vegetables on their vast fields, and the best ones were sold at the market. But even as farmers, my grandparents were not wealthy. They couldn't afford to send me to high school or college. So, I decided to start working right after graduating from middle school to become self-reliant. I worked non-regular jobs for a while until I became an adult. During this time, I had an idea and consulted my grandparents. With their support, I started a small restaurant using the irregular vegetables from their farm. This small, privately run restaurant was the beginning of Ace Supply. From there, I expanded the business nationwide, turning the small restaurant into the large food manufacturing company known as Ace Supply. My grandparents have since passed away, and I now source vegetables from various farmers across the country. However, I never forget that my grandparents' vegetables were the origin of Ace Supply. I was going to give you time to pack your things slowly and say your goodbyes, but to vent your grudges on one of our promising employees is unacceptable. I no longer want you here for even a second. Wait, please. How dare you? I glared sharply at Mr. Carter, who was shamelessly begging. He and his cohorts trembled visibly. Not only did you corrupt the sales department, but you also tried to intimidate an employee who was doing the right thing to get your dismissal overturned. Get out now. Wait, please. Mr. Smith. They still tried to cling to me for mercy, but the security guards escorted them out of the building. As a result, all the employees involved in improper conduct in the sales department were dismissed. They had treated our clients poorly, lied for convenience, and secured contracts through deceitful means. They had continued using unacceptable methods, lying and deceiving clients to secure contracts. Although many companies didn't openly express it, they felt deceived. Consequently, none of these individuals could find employment in the industry. Struggling to find new jobs, they resorted to part-time work, such as deliveries and night shifts. Mr. Carter, no longer a department head, couldn't secure a new job due to his arrogant attitude and ended up working at a convenience store. To save on food expenses, he took home leftover lunches, leading to a poor diet. At the convenience store, a young clerk pointed out to Mr. Carter, "Mr. Carter, isn't your belly getting flabby lately?" "Shut up." His diet consisted mainly of leftover bento boxes, leading to an unhealthy lifestyle, but it was all his own doing. Meanwhile, the new graduates continued to thrive at Ace Supply. Grateful for the support they received from the children's cafeteria, they worked diligently to give back. Watching them grow rapidly in their roles has been a joy. Their enthusiasm continues to be the driving force behind Ace Supply, supporting the company's ongoing success. Emily approached me to report this month's achievements. Listen to this. We've managed to secure so many new contracts. That's amazing. It must be because you're so good at conveying the appeal of our products, Emily. Oh, it's nothing like that. Emily blushed slightly, looking embarrassed. Although she faced setbacks initially, seeing her grow and maintain her enthusiasm made me proud. Please continue to do your best for our company. Yes. With passionate employees like her, I am confident our company will continue to thrive. Watching her radiant smile, I felt assured of our bright future.